What is up, YouTube? My name is Ricky. Today we are reacting to Hollywood Undead Wild in the Streets. That is the video for today. Before we get started, per usual, like, subscribe if you don't want to miss any content. And if you have anything you want me to react to, please let me know in the comment section down below. I will try to get to them as fast as possible. Realized I came across a Hollywood Undead song that I haven't heard in a very long time. And I didn't even know they were still around. They just released this song, Wild in the Streets. When did they release this? They released it in April. So just last month that they actually, as of this recording, just a couple weeks ago. So I didn't even know they were making new music as I was reading through their discography. I have missed like their last two albums plus an EP. The last album I listened to from them was an album called 5, which was out in 2017. So I haven't heard anything new from them since then. So it's been 5 years since I've heard new Hollywood Undead content, and I'm a little curious to see what they've got for me. Something I've always enjoyed about Hollywood Undead is their ability to mix genres, because they're kind of stuck in the in-between of like they're not really rock but they're not rap either but they are. It's like they have a lot of different like what do you call it, influences. Like there's obviously a Linkin Park element to this. Obviously you're not comparing Chester, that's a different planet that he was on. But they're kind of stuck in this in between. Not stuck is not the word, but they put themselves in this in between of they're not rock, they're not rap, but they're both, but they're not either. So I'm very curious to see what they have going on here. It looks like a little bit of a Grand Theft Auto theme we've got going in here. So this is that was probably very loud, I'm so sorry. This is Wild in These Streets, the official lyric video for Hollywood Undead. Here we go. Definitely a GTA influence. There's the rap element. Okay, I have to bring this up. I know it's only like halfway through the first verse, but that if he doesn't enunciate the words like he just enunciated them there, then that whole verse is botched. So obviously there are a lot of plays on words, and good lyricists, especially when it comes to rapping, like the way you enunciate words, your syntax, the way rhythmically, however you choose to do it rhythmically, it throws the whole complexion of the feel off if he didn't say it the way that he said it. So I actually really liked the way that he did that opening line. Yeah.
What you give is what you get. What you see is what it is. And what it is what it's been. It's me against the world, yeah, fucking friend. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Demons in my head, they get loud when they speak. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. They don't know frequency, ain't no time that can reach. King Kong steamroll these motherfuckers. I was a freak. When I speak, wiping out they squad, then I smile when I sleep. Let the caddy warm up, caddy corner, trunk box bumping, breaking glass on the block. Hot trouble, I can see them.
Okay, another case in point right there. Like there was a lot of space in between a couple of those words that he could have used to fill space with more words if they wanted to, but they wanted that space there, both rhythmically and lyrically, to kind of give you a lure, like, oh, I was anticipating another note there or another word or some sort of riff, something, but they let that section kind of breathe and just had a lot of this open air and it gave it a lot of anticipation. That was a very nice touch. I liked it.
what you see is what it is, and what it is what it's been. Lean against the wall, can't find a friend. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Demons in my head, they get loud when they speak. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Lifted on a frequency, ain't no doubt I can reach. Gravestones and bass songs, the raves in the catacombs. Parents hit the plug with no prints on the payphone. Dig up their bones and let them know I ain't the one to fuck with high key and low. But I got a long way to go, the bell tolls now. I was born deep in hell, so I'm a hellhound. You wanna live forever, fight death in this curse. And if it's kill or be killed, you best be driving that hearse. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets.
Good.
Demons in my head, they get loud when they speak. Wild in
Okay, something I loved what they just did there. Is that was no different than the previous two times that they have done that little pre-chorus section, but with that they cut off all the instruments and you can hear the amount of vocal layers that are in there, and you can hear how much like each one actually matters. You obviously kind of have that main voice that kind of has like a little bit of a lower, almost monotone, but it drives the entire phrase. Obviously there's not a lot of notes per se, but if you don't have those different elements, then it just sounds like that one monotone line. But what gave it the color were the other voices behind it, kind of in the, I think it was in the back right of the mastering, that kind of give it a little bit of melodic texture to it, and that's kind of what made that line more impactful than it could have been had it just been that one voice. Let's go back a little bit to hear that. No instruments.
wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Demons in my head, they get loud when they speak. Wild in
Okay, let's just back left.
wild in these streets. Lifted on a frequency, ain't no doubt I can reach. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Demons in my head, they get loud when they speak. Wild in these streets, wild in these streets. Lifted on a frequency, ain't no doubt I can reach. I'll let the night break the silence. Get used to hearing them sirens. Bitches get fed to the lions. Down with the wind like the Mayans. Not here to make no alliance. I'm just addicted to violence. Just here to give you some guidance. Stroke from this noose as it tightens wide. There ain't no killing what won't die. And I got this feeling you won't try. Make sure you see me with both eyes. 'Cause I'm the last thing you'll see, so good night.
Okay, something I really liked about that last little riff that they did, not riff, but like the kind of little outro, is that the main part of it again is rapping, but there was a melody in the background done by, I think the singer is Danny. Is that his name? Who's the singer? Danny, who gave it a little bit of again, going back to texture. It could have just been rapped the whole way if they wanted to do that, but they wanted it to give it a little bit of musicality. They added a little bit of musicality by having this a little bit of just some note texture. It wasn't, obviously it's not vocal gymnastics, it's not like a super hard thing to sing, but if that isn't there, then it gives the whole last line, basically it doesn't give it the color that they were looking for. So I liked the intricacies of this song. Now, while there's a lot more of a rapping element to this than I'm more accustomed to. I mean, the first album is like, I feel like that's an anomaly. Like everyone knows the raps to the first album. So they leaned in hard into the rap element of this one. Something I noticed also mastering wise was there's a lot more drum prominence kind of as the song progressed, and maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it the first couple of times. But there were a lot more drum fills, and usually the mastering on their drums in previous albums is not as what's the word? It's not as tight, I guess would be. Like I kind of had they kind of wanted the sound to be fat, if you will. And so there was less activity on the drums to make the sound fuller with less activity, if that makes sense. But on kind of that last little chorus, there was a little bit of a drum fill there that actually sounded very nice and clean. And mastering wise, I don't know if they changed it up. I don't know if it was like that the entire every time through, but I noticed it on that last time, and there's a lot more drum prominence, which is not something I've heard from them in previous albums. So that's kind of exciting to look forward to if they're kind of leaning into that mastering wise for the drums, because that would be a nice little change up. They do a very good job again in between albums of kind of picking and choosing what they want to feature. So like you'll have one album that's very rock oriented, and then you'll have another album that's very rap oriented, and then you'll have some albums that have a very good mixture of both. This song in particular obviously has much more rap influence, and again, if they don't rap the words like they chose, or what's the word, like accenting certain vowels and rhythms, then it kind of makes kind of makes it just sound like uh not boring is not the word. It's just it gives it a different color, gives it a different feel, the way the notes that they chose. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Kind of a short one. It's only a 3-minute song, so kind of a short one for you guys. Easy to digest, I hope. Again, if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the algorithm, helps get this channel out and about to all the peoples. And again, if you want me to react to anything, doesn't even have to be related to Hollywood Undead, just let me know in the comment section down below. And until then, guys, take care, have a good day. We'll see you for the next one.